Welcome everybody to Fixing Franchises. This series is where I will look at movie franchises and try to improve them over what we ended up getting for the final products. Some of these franchises may just need minor tweaks or adjustments, while others could be full blown reconstructions starting from the very first movie. And I thought, what better franchise to start with than one that has been desperately trying to recapture the magic the original had 30 years ago. That's right. Today we are going to be talking about the Jurassic Park franchise. With Jurassic World Rebirth coming out next month, I thought, what better series to start with? Now, to make things easier on myself, this week I will be focusing on the Jurassic Park trilogy, and then next month I will be going over the Jurassic World portion of the franchise. Now, before I do get started, I want to say that this is all just for fun. I know a lot of people work on these movies to make them happen, and I am just some idiot on the internet. These are also going to be outlines of the movies with no specific dialogue and more of just a breakdown of the movies as a whole. This is some of the best foundation we can get for a franchise. I mean, it's dinosaurs. And I don't know if you know this, but dinosaurs are pretty cool. Now, there really isn't anything I would change about this movie, except maybe giving the Triceratops more screen time, where it isn't bloated from eating shit. But honestly, I think the only things I would add are during Dennis Nedry's heist of that dino DNA, adding a few more cuts to the dock showing Dodgson, and a few armed guards waiting for Nedry to arrive. I would also add some dialogue between Hammond and Dr. Ellie Sattler, where Hammond hints at there being a second island. These scenes don't add a whole lot of context or meat to Jurassic Park, but hopefully down the line that helps add some continuity and maybe even a little bit of pizzazz to the sequels. Here is where I might hurt some feelings. By no means is The Lost World a bad movie, but we can't act like that movie is on a much higher pedestal than Jurassic Park 3. Both have some great moments, and they have some real stinker moments as well. You can argue with me in the comments, but the teenage girl doing a gymnastics kick to a velociraptor is right on par with the velociraptor saying Alan during that plane dream sequence. For the sequels I am making, I will be taking inspiration from several moments throughout the franchise, but I'll be trying to rework them so they fit into the sequels I am creating. I also suck at thinking of titles for movies, so let me know in the comments what you think these sequels should be called, since it will no longer be The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park 3. Now, for what I will be calling Jurassic Park 2, I would love to do the fanfare thing and bring back all the original cast. I mean, I don't blame them for bringing Jeff Goldblum back because goddamn, all right, he started becoming the face of that franchise for a little bit there. But for this movie, I would like to focus more on Biosyn's continued attempts to try to get that dino DNA. Because even as a kid, I questioned why they spent all that money to retrieve the Barbasol can, but we weren't shown any attempts to retrieve that until decades later. And even then, it was just kind of like, oh, they got the can. The biggest piece of media I looked at when deciding which direction to take these movies wasn't a dinosaur movie, but I was looking at the transition from Alien to Aliens. And what I mean by that is they took a story primarily focused on horror elements, um, or horror adventure elements, and turning it into more of an action adventure type story with a lot more gunfights. You know, the heroes actually had weaponry to fight off the aliens, instead of being all that claustrophobic and being a predator and prey situation. Which means the sequel will do one of the most sacrilegious things and have humans actually kill the dinosaurs. I can't really recall any major moments where dinosaurs weren't killed by other dinosaurs in these movies. So now I also know that the whole retrieving the Barbasol can has been told several different times through all sorts of official and unofficial media, but it has always felt like the logical route to me. And I know Steven Spielberg had his whole thing about that, but I also hated the trying to make the human dinosaur hybrid thing, all the different types of genetic stuff. I mean, dinosaurs don't need to go through all these bells and whistles to be entertaining to the majority of audiences. Yeah, there's some people who will bitch and moan about every decision you make, but dinosaurs don't need to be spliced together and make one ultimate dinosaur to be entertaining. This sequel will have a similar opening to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We open with Dachshund and an armed guard standing on the docks the same night that the events of the first Jurassic Park are taking place. It's essentially just a recut of what we saw in the first movie. They are radioing more guards who are searching the island. The guards reach the Dilophosaurus pen and they spot Nedry's Jeep up on that little hill area. Lightning flashes revealing the T-Rex stalking them. One of the guards gets up to the Jeep and opens the door, showing Nedry's gutted body falling to the ground. That same guard follows the flow of the water and finds the Barbasol can. The guards radio over, and we cut to Dachshund and the other armed guard. Over the radio, we hear the T-Rex roar and guards screaming. Cutting back to the guards, we follow the one who grabbed the Barbasol can as the T-Rex wrecks, pun intended, the other guards. The guards escape. That guard escapes and slides down. He tries to gather his surroundings, but we hear the familiar call of the Dilophosaurus. The panicked guard then looks around, and the Dilophosaurus appears right in front of him, extending out his frills and attacking, which leads to the title card. The movie then has a time jump of a few years, and we follow the new lead character as he goes through Biosyn headquarters, and we see that they have been unsuccessfully attempting to copy Engine's dinosaurs. Our lead meets Dachshund and is told that they need him to lead a team of mercenaries so they can get that dino DNA to the bigwigs of Biosyn. For a majority of this movie, we follow the mercenary group as they explore the island, and we see nature has began to grow and take over the park. A lot of the plant life and fauna has started to kind of mutate to a more prehistoric look. And then the dinosaurs have continued to find a way to make more dinos with their dino DNA. I would also love to show some of the other dinosaurs that aren't shown in the park, but on like the maps and things you see that they have their own pens in the park. Again, I love the T-Rex, I love the Raptors, but it'd be nice to at least spotlight some of the other ones as well. We can have the tall grass scene as well from the Lost World in here, where the mercenaries are running through trying to get to the main facility, but they are being picked off one by one as the Raptors are chasing them. The mercenaries make it to the main facility and lock themselves in there. And as they are exploring that, they discover that there are plans for Isla Sorna being used as an experimental island where they can test out different dinosaur species, seeing what works and what doesn't. As they're looking at all this stuff, a firefight breaks out as raptors get into the facility, taking out more of the mercenaries. The final act essentially has the lead find the Barbasol can, and it's mirroring the opening where we see lightning strikes and revealing the T-Rex nearby. The T-Rex chases our lead, and he falls into the mud, and he pulls an Arnie from Predator and covers himself in mud, and he freezes as the T-Rex gets closer and closer. After more of a chase ensues, the lead makes it back to the dock and heads back to the mainland. The lead then contemplates what to do with all that dino DNA, but in the end reluctantly hands it over to Biosyn, but withholds the information about Isla Sorna. Jurassic Park 3 is where we try to bring it all together. We had the more horror-oriented movie with Jurassic Park and the more action-oriented movie with Jurassic Park 2. So we are going to try to get the best of both worlds for this movie while also having some fan service in there as well. I will also say the Spinosaurus is staying in this movie. I think the design needs to be changed up just a little bit so it isn't essentially a T-Rex with a giant fin on its back. And go with more of that crocodilian look it's gotten over the years. Oh god, not that one. Perfection. This movie opens, though, with our lead from the second film flying to Isla Sorna. However, the plane is being attacked by pteranodons. As the plane loses control, he jumps out of the plane, and we cut to the title card. We travel back to the previous day and see Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler boarding a boat. They are going with other paleontologists to research the dinosaurs on Isla Sorna from one of the observatory buildings. Now you might be asking, Tegan, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they be so willing to go back to an island after the events of the first movie? And my comment to that is, don't think about it too much. I said so. They're going to the island. Do you all want the fanfare or not? Essentially, this movie will have a plot A and plot B for about the first half of the film. Plot A will follow the lead from the second movie as he works to stop Biosyn from getting to Isla Sorna. And going forward, I will just refer to that lead character as number 2. Plot B follows Grant, Sattler, and the other paleontologists as they conduct research before their observatory is compromised. Plot A starts with number 2 breaking into Biosyn to steal back the dino DNA, and while he explores the facility, we see that Biosyn has started to create more improved dinosaurs now that they have what engines created. Number 2 gets closer to all the stolen research when Dachshund and his boss enter the labs and discuss their plan to take over Isla Sorna. Number 2 makes a quick grab for anything he can grab and ends up hitting the emergency switch as well, causing the safety protocols to activate, destroying a lot of the dinosaurs and research that were in there. Plot B starts as a merry old time for the paleontologists as they're viewing the herbivores on the island, but they eventually start discussing branching out further to the aviary and the riverway area. Grant, of course, disagrees with this due to the safety risk, but a majority of the group is focused on the fame and dollar signs that could come with this type of research, no matter the danger or what it could cost. We then cut back to number 2 trying to sabotage Biosyn even more as they load boats up with supplies to go to Isla Sorna. He's able to destroy some of the boats, but it then comes down to a chase where he gets onto one of the smaller planes, and this leads to the opening of the movie where he's flying the plane towards the island while it's being attacked by pteranodons. Number 2 lands close enough to the paleontologist that they go to see what happened. They all meet up, and number 2 warns the group that Biosyn is headed to the island. Biosyn is traveling down the river, giving us our first look at the Spinosaurus fin and the Spinosaurus itself as it destroys multiple of the boats. The boat carrying Dachshund and his boss makes it to the land, allowing everyone on it to escape. We then watch as the Spinosaurus backs away into the water and submerges itself once again. However, the crew isn't safe as they hear Velociraptor calls, leading to even more of the crew being attacked and picked off. The good guys make it to the main research facility in the middle of the island, where they plan to destroy all the dino DNA, so Biosyn cannot get their grubby little fingers on it. But one of the paleontologists takes some of that DNA, and there are also multiple mosquitoes in the amber without the others knowing. Very similar to the whole Billy arc in Jurassic Park 3 where he takes the eggs. Biosyn then chases after the good guys, and this leads to the final battle taking place in the aviary. The good guys prevail, and the fight ends with Dachshund being grabbed by the pteranodons and being pecked apart. This gives the boss of Biosyn enough time to escape the aviary as he looks for a way off the island. The good guys eventually make their way to all the Biosyn boats, and this is where the Spinosaurus reappears charging at our heroes. But a T-Rex appears, much like in the original Jurassic Park, and fights off the Spinosaurus while our heroes get on the boat and escape. So I know this was a very quick synopsis of these movies and ideas I had, but I would love to know your thoughts down below. I'm also working on the formatting of this series to see what works best. In the future, I may be given more detail and see what works. But please let me know down in the comments below what you liked, what you loved, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.